Hey YouTube, this is Laurie. Got a little bit of a shop update. I haven't had a lot of time to get out into the garage this past week, but what time I have had is going into a little project. Better lighting. That's a 4-tube fluorescent fixture. It's got 32 watt T8 tubes in it, 4 of them, and that's going to be going right up there above the toolbox. Give me some light from the side of the car, and hopefully be a bit of an improvement over that single 2-tube fixture. Give me a bit more light in the evenings and make it a bit easier to work out here later at night. But the more exciting project, and the thing that's had me in the hardware store for hours getting bits and pieces for it, nice new toy. Ooh, that is a 5 horsepower, 60 gallon, 165 PSI dual stage compressor, and that will eventually go into the back corner of the shop once I make room over there. The shop is kind of a disaster at the moment, so I've got to figure out some way to hang all those bumpers back there, get them up off the floor, hopefully hang them off the rafters up there, or on that back wall or something. I've got a shelving unit that's going to go into that back corner, and then the compressor is going to go over next to that, and eventually I'll have pipes ran all the way around the shop. But for right now, I am working on, I got the main fuse panel back here, and I've got to put in a 220 volt line. So went to the hardware store and picked up some 12-2. There's 50 feet of that there. That should be plenty enough to get from the fuse box to where I want to put the compressor at. For now I'm just going to use a 50-foot line that will just be coiled up on the floor. At some point, once I get the hard lines run around the garage, I'll figure out what I need in terms of air hoses, but that'll work for me for the time being. What else? I also picked up, let's see here, in one of these bags. Where's that at? The compressor. Oh, there we go. The compressor doesn't have a regulator or anything on it, so this here is, let's see if we can zoom in a bit, an all-in-one air regulator kit. So it's got the filter, regulator, and an oiler, which I don't know if I'll end up using. I've had mixed opinions on using oilers on your airlines. Obviously it lubes your tools nicely and saves you having to do it manually, but on the downside I've heard that it can over oil and you end up with oil dripping out over your project you're working on, which obviously is particularly bad news if you're doing body work, and would be a complete disaster for spraying paint. So if I do hook that up, I'm going to have an extra line drop in between the regulator and the oiler so that I can take a oil-free line for running a paint gun. But I've still got some planning to do to figure that out, so we'll see what that ends up looking like. But I got a whole pile of fittings to hook this stuff up. So we've got quick disconnects, there we go, there's quick disconnects, there's 1/4 inch nipples and reducers. I've got a shut-off ball valve, so I'm going to need a bunch more stuff than that eventually, once I figure out exactly what I'm doing. But I figure I've got just about enough here to get the compressor wired and plumbed and working, and I can come back and tidy things up later as I get the shop organised. Back here is a bit of a nightmare. So that's what's been going on. Nothing much done to the Fury, mostly because I've been using what time I've got to get all this other stuff organised. Next project on this Fury is tearing all this apart, the dash and everything underneath it. Biggest problem with that is I pretty much can't get to anything without taking out the heater box and all the ducting, and the first thing you have to do to take out the heater is drain the coolant, which shouldn't be any problem now that I have where's that gone over there, a drain pan, which I couldn't find the drain pan, so I had to run out and go pick one of those up. So once I've cleared up some of this disaster work area, I'll get that coolant drained, start pulling out the heater box and heater core, and hopefully that'll give me access to the back of the instrument panel and the radio and all that kind of stuff, and we'll get the rest of this interior out. Other than that, I've got the front seat still, which this car's still running, still drivable, still got the engine in, so it's kind of handy having seats to sit on if I want to pull it out and move it. And then the roof, the convertible top, that all needs to come out. That roof is in really good condition, but I'm getting rid of it anyway because I'm going to be replacing it with a white top. So that's got to come out, and that will go up on eBay or Craigslist or something. And that'll be pretty much the end of pulling apart the interior, just the roof, seats and dash. Probably won't be able to see anything down here, it's a bit too dark, but the floor is all solid. Like I mentioned in my intro, the metalwork on this car has pretty much been done, but there is surface rust coming through the primer, and there's a little bit on the floors and the interior. I think one of the worst spots is this lower corner, but it's just surface rust that just needs scrubbing off there. I gotta get me some primer and clean that up. Here's another little spot. This is just where the car was stored for about a year outside under a tarpaulin before I bought it, and so there was some moisture accumulation, and that's what you get. But nothing that won't be easy to take care of, and now I've got the compressor, I can go get myself a cheap air gun and some primer and get that sorted out. Anyway, I'm going back on to cleaning up my shop, getting that light fixture up, and doing a temporary wiring and plumbing job on this air compressor, just so I can get it working until I can get it where it's supposed to be. So, catch you later, YouTube.